Yes, what's up? What's happening? Welcome into Boston has entered the chat. I'm George Balekji. He's Travis Thomas. We're in the PNC Bank studio. Got a packed show for you guys today.
Yeah, we do.
The day of disgruntled wide receivers in the NFL. Man, Davante Adams, Amari Cooper, saved by other franchises, both in the AFC East. We'll talk a little bit about Russell Wilson potentially taking Justin Fields' job. And as always, we go through our NFL power rankings. Packed show today. This all comes on. I know you're going to get to, T.
Yeah, I mean, are there disgruntled losers of bets on this show?
No, not disgruntled. Only people that pay up their bets and pay their debts.
Respect.
We'll have that later. As you guys know, Trav and I had a nice little friendly wager on Monday Night Football and the outcome. Me betting on the Jets. And you know what? You want to know how sick I am, T? I'm not done betting on them.
Whoa.
We'll talk about it. And you know why? Because they went out and got Davante Adams.
Here we go.
A conditional third-round pick. It could go up to a second-round pick if Davante Adams is on the Jets roster in the AFC Championship game or Super Bowl. I'm not going to go as crazy as say that can happen, and he's all pro. Nonetheless, the Jets off a 23-20 loss to the Bills where they went 1 for 4 in the red zone. Kickers missing field goals. Aaron Rodgers was ready to leave Mike Williams on the turf in East Rutherford and not allow him to go home.
Yes.
They go out and get the best receiver he's ever played with, one of his best friends. The chemistry is automatic, and a guy that adds another layer to a Jets offense that needs it badly.
Keep going. So this means what to you?
The Jets, it's been how they've been. Everything's about them going all in for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
It's why I agree or disagree. They fired a head coach after a 2-3 start.
Yeah.
It's why I agree or disagree. They go out and make the payments they did to go out and get a Mike Williams, to go all in on the offense, to go out and add everything they did to address that offensive line, but also to get a Davante Adams because their window is now. Aaron Rodgers looks like he has nothing left, and Garrett Wilson's good. Allen Lazard is serviceable when he's catching passes from Aaron Rodgers. But if you look at what they've done in the last 3 games, lost to the Broncos because the offense couldn't move, lost to the Vikings because Lazard kept dropping passes, and they lost to the Bills because they couldn't finish drives, and Mike Williams wasn't on the same page with Aaron Rodgers. You have Garrett Wilson, who's superb on the outside, fantastic route runner. Davante Adams attacks at all 3 levels, all over the field. The chemistry is there between him and Aaron Rodgers. He adds that layer to the offense that desperately needs it because they're not winning up front at the line of scrimmage. You need guys that could get open and get open quickly. That's Garrett Wilson. That is Davante Adams. That is Allen Lazard in the seams. And that is Breece Hall, Braylon Allen out of the backfield. They have to do something to this offense. And there are no offensive tackles out there. I'm justifying that. Go. Speak. It's been me for 3 straight minutes. You just sit back. You don't want. I'm speaking. You don't want me to speak.
I am basking in the glow of Monday Night Football going exactly how I predicted.
Oh, it did?
I said
it went exactly how you predicted.
This will be a close game down the stretch that Josh Allen makes the plays, not Aaron Rodgers. And it went even better than what I predicted because you had multiple missed kicks from the Jets, multiple Dumas penalties from the Jets, which all can be traced back to details, being buttoned up.
11 penalties, 110 yards.
Coaching,
on the Jets.
Baby, coaching. So what are you going to do? You fire the best coach you had on the staff, in my humble opinion.
Shukran, appreciate that.
And then you're bringing this guy to do what? Worse? I mean, details not paid attention to. Dumb penalties, missed kicks, special team blunders. I mean, so we're going to bring in what? Davante Adams? Another big personality who's prickly when he doesn't get his way?
When he doesn't get the ball.
Yeah.
When he doesn't get the ball.
But him and Aaron are tight. Okay. We haven't seen Aaron sever many relationships in his career.
The fact that he brought in Allen Lazard to the Jets shows Aaron Rodgers' weird loyalty. Yeah. I will own it.
He was loyal to Randall Cobb, too. How'd that work out?
He forced him back onto the Packers roster when Randall Cobb was on his back 9. Forced him onto the Jets roster when he was washed up.
Oh, that's interesting.
But he's not going to turn on Davante Adams.
Okay.
But Davante is not even a full season removed from 100, 1,100, and multiple touchdowns with Aiden O.F. Connell at quarterback.
I can't argue Davante's talent. I'll tell you this.
So it's Rodgers in a weird way will not turn on Davante Adams. Oh, you're going to go schedule. You're going to go game by game. By the way, real quick, Patriots face the Jets in 2 weeks. All right, go.
Okay.
All right. I like this. Let's do this.
We're staying in prime time.
They're 2-4.
They're coming right off a primetime game. We're going to stay there and go Sunday night against the Steelers.
They will lose.
Where I think Davante Adams would be a better fit. But then we get news today that Mike Tomlin is making some bad choices there. So that's another topic for another day.
But that defense is top 5
It is.
against this offense. Steelers win that game.
And we'll talk Tomlin later in the show. But you go to Pittsburgh in primetime Sunday night. Good luck with that. At New England now with new hope and this new kid in Drake May.
They'll beat the Patriots.
Back in primetime. You seeing all these primetime games, right? We're going to watch this happen. It's beautiful. I can't wait.
Flexing start?
Back on Thursday night against the Texans, who I think could be the best team in the AFC, and I'm including the Chiefs.
Okay.
On the road to Arizona, you should handle that. Home against the Colts, another primetime game, you should handle that. Bye week.
Pause. Time out. So at this point,
yes,
you have them 5-7.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go further.
No, let's keep going.
No, I'm going to give you the final standings. I think this team with Davante Adams goes 7-10 and misses the playoffs. And then I can't wait for two things: to watch that play out, to watch them underachieve like they have been, like I told you they would coming into this season. So far, genius. The second thing I can't wait to watch is when they go 7-10 and they miss the postseason again. This time with Rodgers as your quarterback, as your coach, your GM. He might as well own the damn team. He's the alpha and the omega. It is a New York Rodgers, okay? I can't wait to watch them fail with Davante Adams, with all his peeps, Lazard, all of them. And then what's the excuse going to be? I can't wait to see that, because all you get from this guy is excuses, which is why he makes me sick. Aaron Rodgers, you make me sick. Jets, you make me sick. And now you've come into my personal life. You've taken one of my best friends and you've ripped him in half. I mean, this guy, so put him on camera, Jay. This man right here, George Balekji, needs Jets rehab. Look at him. He's wearing a green shirt today. He never wears green. You know how much green screen we do? We can't wear green. He wore green even with the Jets losing. He's walking around. He lost a bet to me. And he's walking around so excited about Davante Adams. 7-10. You missed the playoffs. Rodgers is going to make excuses. And my boy is going to be heartbroken. He needs Jets rehab. If you love George like I do, please message us here at Boston Has Entered the Chat. And let's get him the help that he deserves.
Look at what they have left. Pittsburgh, New England, Houston, Arizona, Colts, Seahawks, Miami. We don't know if Tua is back. Sounds like
he'll be back.
And that Miami team will be tough with Tua back in the fold.
Yes.
Jacksonville, the Rams, who could have Puka and cut back by then. The Bills, who now have Amari Cooper. Miami again. This is a team that can finish 9-8. And they can just get into the AFC playoff picture. What they did to make this move is they see a wide open division. We still don't know what the Dolphins and Tua will be. The Patriots are an afterthought.
That's a bad loss to the Bills then.
That Bills team is shaky. It was a bad loss.
That's a bad loss.
I am not going to say
that's a bad loss. If that's the case, that's a bad loss.
That's a bad loss. I am not going to like they played like crap.
Right.
They were running the ball well. Breece Hall showed up.
Yeah.
The offense did what it could so far. Like Alan Lazard and Garrett Wilson were good.
They were.
But
Rodgers was good.
Why you bring in Aaron Rodgers is you're down a score, under 2 minutes left, ball's in his hands. He makes magic happen like he did before halftime.
That's right.
But it was the inefficiency in the red zones, the missed field goals, all those penalties, That's coaching.
There's
no excuse for that. But this is a team that you get Davante Adams in there. We've seen the talent of players can mask deficiencies.
Yeah.
And if you have a chain mover and a guy that is still as good as can be in Davante Adams, opposite of Garrett Wilson, like it's not like they don't have anybody, and that opens up Garrett Wilson more. It just lifts up the rest of this offense. They need a way to cover their deficiencies. Like Tyron Smith at left tackle is washed. 2 of the sacks that happened, Aaron Rodgers were responsible for him. He had no business being out there. It is bad, but at his age, this roster is not great. Rodgers is not great anymore, but that defense can still be good. And you get a receiver like Adams opposite of Wilson. I'm a broken record, but it's true. That can raise a lot. It can raise the ceiling.
Let me ask you this, because you're so creative. Let me ask you this. I know we're going to get to the payoff of the bet we did make on a singular game. I
understand. The Jets are the Jets.
On a singular game, right? You were willing to bet me that. I mean, can we do a wager here?
Playoffs or not?
All on wax here, for the record. I mean, I could not disagree with you more. I don't know if I've ever disagreed with you more on a topic than this. I do not see a world in which this I didn't see this. Well, good point. I didn't see this coming into the season, and now I've seen enough football from this team to double down on where I'm at. I see no way this team makes the playoffs.
But you know why?
I don't even know if 9-8. If you're right, I don't know if 9-8 is good enough in the AFC.
That's fair. I mean, what we should do is 7.5 over under on the win total.
Or we just go, we go record. Do they have a winning record or not? Because look, I'm saying 7-10. It could be 8-9. I'm fine with that. I don't see 9-8.
You know what it does for me? Their schedule. There's not a lot of good football teams remaining. Steelers are good.
Yeah.
The Texans are good.
Yeah.
But that's why I run through it. And where they got through a tough stretch, like where they played the 49ers, you know? Mm-hmm. And that was an awful loss by them. This Bills team that proved me wrong. Like, I'll own that. I was wrong about this Bills team on that. But they give so many chances. But, like, the Patriots aren't good. They still turn the ball over a ton. The defense has its issues with tackling and run fits. And that's going to spell trouble against a Jets team and an offense with skill guys that can take advantage of that. Texans, that's a loss. Cardinals, it's a wild card, especially out in Arizona, but that defense is nothing special at all. It's one of the worst in the NFL.
This is why you need rehab, George, because you're still going talent. It's bigger than that. They lost to Buffalo. 1, 2, 3. Here's this. The Bills did not beat them as much as the Jets beat themselves. Yeah. Would you agree with that? Yes. Okay, that's details.
Though. And yes, I know.
So guess what happens in those? Guess what happens in those scenarios?
Yeah.
Bad teams can steal 1 or 2 from you.
Yeah.
That's how thin the margin of error is for the Jets.
You can't give up a football field length and penalty yardage.
That's all I'm saying.
They can't keep doing that. Davante Adams adds to this offense. That defense still needs to get better in a lot of spots. Like Javon Kinlaw single-handedly blew that game.
He did.
That awful neutral zone infraction, then after the field goal, the taunting or whatever unsportsmanlike.
Right.
Like, get him off the team.
Isn't
that's what they should be doing at this point.
Is the interim coach a defensive guy?
Jeff Ulbrich was the DC, and he's a Robert Saleh guy. I don't know how he tolerates what Javon Kinlaw did, who's been terrible with the Jets, by the way.
You didn't see a lot of this stuff with Saleh. Like, if I'm him last night watching that game.
The penalties were still happening.
Not as egregious as last night.
They were not disciplined against the Broncos. No, not as egregious as last night. But still.
But still. Yeah. If I'm him watching that game last night, I am laughing
at Woody Johnson.
Pile of cash.
All right. I like them to finish 9-8.
No shot. I'll take that bet right now.
Because
I don't know what you want to bet.
They can win 7 games down the stretch. I believe in it when I look at the layout of the schedule. It's going to be rocky the next 4 weeks because that Houston-Pittsburgh split. Seattle will probably lose to Miami. Maybe they split. They have another game with Buffalo. At Buffalo late in the year.
Rodgers checks out. Rodgers will check out on you. He keeps losing. Let's say they lose
Same thing.
to Pittsburgh. What are you now, 2-5?
Same thing.
Rodgers will check out on you.
Same thing with these defensive lines. But, man, that offensive line for the Jets is bad.
It really is.
Like the Bills' D-line isn't fantastic.
No. Josh Allen down the stretch. What's the difference?
I'm an Armenian cowboy. I'm going to say they get a winning record. I don't know if those exist, but.
Well, what we have to do.
I'm a Lebanese cowboy.
Let's have you pay out your first bet, and then on the back end,
all right,
we can discuss the new bet on the Jets.
So if you guys don't know, last week on the chat, it was our final episode, we spoke about Monday Night Football. We were doing buy or sell. Trav sold that the Jets would beat the Bills. I bought it, and this ensued. Here you go, guys.
Jets get smoked Monday night. This is a sell for me.
I'm buying. I am buying all the way. They're going to get a boost. This defense is one of the best in the league and absolutely loves Jeff Ulbrich. Bills' offense is hitting its ceiling. They've hit their ceiling.
Bro, I got to tell you something. You know, we're boys, and I love you. And so this is an intervention, okay? I am telling you out of love, all of us here on Boston Has Entered the Chat, out of love, we are telling you, you need Jets rehab. Let's bet a shot of whiskey or something, because I'm telling you right now, no way in hell do I believe in the Jets this week.
Trav, Johnny Walker Black, man of my word. F the Jets. I'll need my morning coffee after that.
Yep. Hey, you know what? Great liquor choice, though. I will give you
Johnny
that.
Walker Black guy. My brother-in-law put me on to that.
So good. Great choice.
No, hold on. I don't even want to get into why I chose Johnny Walker
Black.
Black.
No, tell me.
Well, when I moved to New England, coming from Wisconsin, younger,
Sure,
big in IPAs, they were making strides. Then I got here and I go, when I have one or two of those, the headache the next day kicks my ass. Like, it doesn't matter. And then I don't do beer anymore. I just do Johnny Walker Black.
Ooh.
Maybe a light beer, High Life.
So we're so similar, except I went the bougie route. Because now I'm a big wine dude. I drink wine and I drink my beer.
Drew Bledsoe, let's get you on.
Yeah, facts. And then you went the opposite. I went down this path. You went down a much darker one.
It's just easy. Some ice, anything.
Yeah.
I always got the bottles. But
good on you, though, my friend.
that was 8 o'clock this morning.
Woo!
That was post-morning walk,
lift.
No, pre-breakfast or pre-lift meal.
Okay, all right.
That was my girl. I bust a bottle out. My girlfriend's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I owe Trav.
Yeah,
I lost a bet."
And she goes, "You should have known better."
No,
you know that guy's a champion.
You know what she actually said?
What?
She goes, "Smells good."
Why do you pour two, bro? You got to set the tone for the day.
So that was 8 a.m. 9 a.m. I get on the road, go to the gym.
Man,
I hit my wall lifting too, but that was tough.
Well, we got to bet something on the Jets big picture because I don't believe. Good for Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers getting their bromance rocking, but I'm not buying it. I'm not. Sorry. I like to move
9-8.
Team in the division that just beat them made better.
What's so tough with the new schedule? There's not even a wash. They can't finish 8-8 anymore.
Yeah.
There's no 9-7.
But that helps our bet if we make it. Because it's like winning record or losing record. Pick one.
I'm going winning. I think
I'm
they
going
finish
losing.
with a winning record.
I'm going 7-10, 8-9.
You're doubling down? Oh. 2 shots?
Oh, my God. Maybe let's do a bottle.
What do you mean?
Because mine would be a bottle of wine. Equivalent
bottle.
to, not a drink a bottle. You just take it to the net. Johnny Walker Black. Thanks, it's been nice. That would be it.
The fact that I even entertained that for a second in my head.
Like buying a bottle for the winner.
What kind of red do you like?
It would just be equivalent to whatever Johnny Black cost.
All right.
No, you don't understand. I'm a wine.
Wine is not price point, though. Whiskey's price point matters for quality. No. Wine does. I'll get you a good bottle.
Yeah, give me a good bottle.
What is Cabernet Sauvignon? What
I
kind
drink
of red?
it all.
All right.
I'll take red, white, or blue.
No. You're sick. I got you on a good bottle of red. If the Jets don't have a winning record. Johnny Walker Black, you know how it's
deal. Yeah, witnesses. 7-10, 8-9 from your boy, 9-8 and up for him. Loser has to buy a bottle of drink.
I got like 20 minutes into my lift, like got done deadlifting, was doing split leg squats. I'm like, all right, I'm feeling good. And then I get done with that and I just hit a wall. And I was like, I need food.
That's a Johnny Walker wall. By the way,
never again.
Not only did the Bills beat them in prime time in a massive game for the division, and maybe will help me cash another bet here, but I like the move that the Bills made better than the move that the Jets made.
Jets got a better receiver. I honestly think that Bills deal.
So the
Bills traded for Amari Cooper, and they sent a 3rd-round pick to Cleveland.
Yep.
Along with a late round swap later.
Yep.
Cleveland gets a 3rd-rounder. Basically, Bills get Amari Cooper's all they need. They needed that badly.
Yes.
They needed Amari Cooper because
and he's a good
between
fit,
their
George.
Top receivers, I'm going to go through my notes now.
He's a good fit.
Khalil Shakur was averaging 50 receiving yards a game, and he's a slot guy, good shifty guy.
He's all right.
Keon Coleman, all the excitement. Keon Coleman, 34 yards a game.
No, not good enough.
Curtis Samuel, 15. Matt Collins, 13 and a half.
Not good enough.
Yards per game. Those are the top 3 receivers on their depth chart.
I like Kincaid, but he's better with a top option.
And he's fine. He's serviceable. He's okay.
Yes.
Amari Cooper, again, is just so reliable. You're going to get 1,000 yards,
yes.
and you're going to get 80, 90 catches from him
yep.
in the span of 17 games. We'll see what they get, but you get someone that is a man beater that's only 30 years old, so not yet on the back end, and someone's disgruntled in Cleveland. But also for Cleveland to get a 3rd-rounder back for Amari Cooper, I thought expiring contract, 30 years old, disgruntled, I thought that was a 5th. For Cleveland to get a 3rd-rounder, that is a good trade for them too. But I do like this move by the Bills because when the Jets got Davante, I go, this is them going all in.
Yeah.
They know their division's wide open. Amari Cooper on this Bills offense changes a lot.
You know why? It's a better fit, George. And I understand why you're calling him disgruntled because who the hell wouldn't be in Cleveland?
Him. Yeah, and I'm not knocking Amari Cooper. Be upset. Get your way out of that situation.
I will say this about his disgruntled. You can't get a peep out of the guy. The guy doesn't talk. And so I think it's a better fit for the Bills to get him than it is Davante Adams to the Jets. Not that Amari Cooper's better than Davante Adams, because he ain't. Davante Adams is a better player. But Davante Adams has now a history of being outspoken. I wouldn't go as far as to call him the diva wide receiver. I don't think he's that far gone, but he will speak out. He will step up and tell you he's unhappy. He's a little more disgruntled than Amari Cooper, in my opinion, outwardly. Amari Cooper's going to come in there and keep his mouth shut, be a professional. And remember this about Buffalo. Stephon Diggs was still extremely productive for the Bills. They got tired of him being a pain in the arse, and they got him out of there. And they were willing to live with life without him, without a premier wide receiver. George just told you the options. It ain't good, okay? They went from literally a steak dinner to Hot Pockets. And this team got a receiver who's not a pain in the arse. They got a receiver who's going to come in, get with the program, is ready to win at this stage of his career, just like Davante Adams. The difference is he ain't going to rock the boat. He's not going into a toxic situation in Buffalo. Davante Adams has shown he can be toxic. Aaron Rodgers has shown he can be toxic.
Yes.
And now you put them together in, voila, a toxic environment. What could go wrong? How's everything for 500, Alex, in the Daily Double?
Well,
so I think Amari Cooper in Buffalo is a better fit, and I think they're going to reap the benefits more of this trade, macro, big picture, playoffs. They can actually talk to. I think they're going to win this division. Listen, I think this is a much better trade for the Bills than it is for the Jets. I do.
And what's going to happen is if Aaron Rodgers is done this season, Davante Adams next year,
oh, yeah.
Get me the hell out of here.
Absolutely.
If he decides an extension, he has an opt-out. They're moving the money around.
Right.
I'm not going to get all GME on you.
Sure.
That Amari Cooper trade is just huge because I've told you, and it's why I like the matchup with the Jets too. Like, they don't have great receivers on the outside. Like, Keon Coleman's not athletic. He's not fast. He can't get separation.
No, he can't.
It boggles my mind that the Bills took him where they took him right? Especially with the other guys on the board at that spot. But nonetheless, they needed Amari. They needed a vet for how cheap he is, too. The Bills, I call them, they're in a soft rebuild, but they still can win the division. And this is Brandon Beane going all in. This is Sean McDermott definitely demanding that trade because he needs to save his job in this situation. You still get a very good wide receiver with Amari Cooper. Browns fans are going to say, you see the drops he had? I don't care. It's tough to show up locked in when you're dealing with that at quarterback.
Yeah.
You have the worst quarterback in the NFL.
Right.
There are backups around. I would take Jacoby Brissett over Deshaun Watson. Actually.
Yeah.
I actually would.
Yeah.
Like, that's how bad it was in Cleveland and how awful Deshaun Watson is. This is something that'll wake Amari Cooper up, helps out Josh Allen a ton, and just helps his team all around. No, this trade surprised me, especially for a third. You know who should have done this? The Chiefs.
Yeah.
If I'm the Chiefs, I'd call in, I'd go 2/3. Their window is now. Save me the BS. It's Mahomes. It's Juju. It's the system. Save me that. Because they can do something that has never been done before. 3-peat in the Super Bowl era. You have a Super Bowl defense. Your offense isn't good. You're barely winning games. Oh, well, what did they do last? The Saints can't tackle. That is an awful defense. They did the same thing against Baker and the Bucs. They're getting by with Juju Smith-Schuster. Like, they have Xavier Worthy. Take the top off. They need someone consistent, especially on the outside and over the middle.
Yep.
What is it, Justin Watson, Kelsey? I don't know. The Chiefs should have made this trade. The Chiefs are the biggest loser in this whole situation. Amari was perfect. Cheap, and for a third rounder to get another Super Bowl,
for sure.
You do that.
My guess is they probably did pick up the phone and were outbid here, but to your point, don't be outbid. I mean, listen.
If you're Brett Veach, you should have dived in
what's
a
it
third.
going for? A third. Buffalo's offering a third. Okay, we'll offer a second. I mean, you can't be outbid here. But some of that, though, because I do agree with you, but to play devil's advocate, some of that's Andy Reid. I mean, honestly, some of it's Andy Reid saying, we don't need to do that. We're going to make it work and figure it out.
Good this year.
I know.
They're barely winning.
George, last year looked the same.
I
Now,
know.
they were healthier
For 17
offensively.
games.
Yes, and we saw the emergence of Rasheed Rice and others last season, I'm saying.
Yes.
But it wasn't pretty. That defense won that Super Bowl, and then Mahomes' magic late.
And think just the playoff run is Miami in sub 30-degree weather.
Right.
Soft as hell.
Who
Got
they
them at
beat
home.
next?
Bills.
That was the Bills,
In Buffalo,
okay.
that's a big win.
Yeah, that's a huge
Ravens
win.
in Baltimore. But
That's
Lamar
right.
being a pumpkin where they didn't run
That's
the
right.
ball.
Yeah.
Like, stuff did fall their way.
They should have lost.
I'm not going to
on that
discredit
path.
the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But even the Super Bowl, I don't care. Dre Greenlaw goes down, everything changes. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
again, we talk about margin for error. It is so small with the Chiefs on that offense.
Yeah, that's why.
And I get it. They have Patrick Mahomes. I get it. They have 15. It doesn't look good.
No, it
I
doesn't.
don't care that it's winning. It doesn't look good.
Yeah, that's where I agree with you. I'm just playing devil's advocate in that you have Andy Reid, you have Patrick Mahomes. You don't want to get into a bidding war when you have those two. So
Yeah.
I guess I do understand that viewpoint. Whereas Buffalo, you have a defensive-minded head coach who I think, quite frankly, is on the hot seat. No one talks about it, but I think he is. They're in win-now mode. They had to make a move, and they did, and they outbid whoever. There's a couple teams that could use the services of an Amari Cooper,
Yeah.
who I'm sure, including the Chiefs, who I'm sure picked up the phone and tried to make it happen. Kudos to the Bills. I think that's a tremendous fit.
Look, that's a big trade for them. What's funny too is I believe Dallas traded Amari Cooper to the Browns for a 5th,
Wow.
and Cleveland just got a 3rd.
A third.
Jerry
And,
Jones.
and guess what? All across the board at both stops, production,
Yes.
and not a pain in the arse in your
Oakland,
locker room.
Dallas,
Yeah.
Cleveland, everywhere he's gone.
Production
Yeah.
and not rocking the boat.
Just always gets moved around. Doesn't make any sense. Like kind of like Brandon Cooks when Brandon Cooks was in his prime. Same thing.
I think he's better than Brandon
Got
Cooks
shuffled around.
in his prime. I think
Brandon
Amari
Cooks more
Cooper's a better.
explosive down the field, but hey, you're consistent. You're consistent.
Yeah. And by the way, Amari Cooper's, obviously great route runner, tremendous hands. I think he can block. I think he's a complete wide receiver, but I also say that to say I've seen him with shots down the field too.
No,
make
he can
things
get it
happen.
done.
I think he can do it all.
Again, 5th rounder is what Cowboys
That's
got
crazy.
back from. Jerry Jones. You want to hear more about Jerry Jones? Check out the latest episode of Foxborough Rush. We go through
Yeah.
everything Patriots
Yeah,
there,
we
but we
do.
have a fun Jerry Jones topic as well. That is Foxborough Rush, wherever you get your podcast. And also, I just want to shout out, make sure you can email in thechat@nesson.com
Yep.
or call in 617-790-0928. That's 617-790-0928 is our chat hotline. We've had great calls
Yep.
the last few weeks. We want to hear from our friends, the Drake May.
Haven't heard
Hive.
from him.
Yeah.
Where did you guys go?
Sammy, I want to hear from you, brother. I want to hear what you think of Drake May's debuting down the road.
Come on.
But again, 617-790-0928. When this episode of the chat wraps up, while you're driving, cleaning, whatever
Yep.
you're doing,
Yep.
pick up the phone, dial it, and give us a call, leave a voicemail. Or if you have a thought right now, do this.
Yeah.
Hit pause.
Oh,
Call us. Leave a voicemail. Hang up.
smart.
And keep listening to the chat. 617-790-0928. They've been fun lately. All right, let's get into what a day in the NFL. So
Yep.
two teams got better by adding a wide receiver. And you can say how much better, what does it change for them?
Mm-hmm.
One team's making a head-scratching change. Mike Tomlin came out and basically said Russell Wilson, his health has been good. It puts him in a good spot.
Yep.
He's getting first-team practice reps, and he could start Sunday against the Jets.
Why?
After Justin Fields has totaled 10 touchdowns, 5 passing, 5 rushing, just 1 interception, and is having a career-high completion percentage for Pittsburgh, he might make a quarterback change. With the Steelers also off to a 4-2 start.
This is a mistake. Now, I want to give Mike Tomlin some credit here because he has been consistent across the board. I remember when maybe it was after week 1.
Yep.
Justin Fields played well, and they said, will you commit to him moving forward? And he says, I don't need to do that. Why would I do that? Russell Wilson isn't even healthy. This kid's getting a chance. He's playing well. We're just going to roll with it. And I said, beautifully done. After week 2, they won again. Fields played well. Same question. It's going to keep coming. Tomlin, same answer. That was the first time I thought, I would probably put a little bit of a remix on that and say, Fields, we're 2-0. He's looking good. We'll deal with Russ when he's healthy, but right now we like what we're seeing. I would sort of give him a stamp of confidence. Tomlin didn't do that. So now every week you got to deal with this. They go 3-0. Where are we sticking with Fields? I don't need to do that. Okay, great. Now then they lose a couple games. If you had lost to the Raiders, I could understand this move now.
Yeah.
But you blow the Raiders out. Justin Fields didn't throw the ball particularly well, but you heard George give the numbers there. In that game against the Raiders,
Taking care of the football.
He's taking care of the football, no turns, but he ran the ball very effectively, ran for 2 touchdowns. At this point, Mike T, what are you doing? What are you doing? You can just say Russ is healthy, but We're rolling with Fields. Do we reserve the right to make a quarterback change at some point if we see that as fit? Fine. I think everyone would accept that answer. That's like a no duh, right? No Shaq Sherlock moment. But to open this up now, I think it's disrespectful to Justin Fields. And I also think you run the risk of creating a locker room issue. We have heard for years, that guys don't really rally around Russell Wilson. In the locker room, I'm saying. Personal stuff. He comes off as he's not authentic, and he's just there's a lot of things there, right? Justin Fields, you're humming with him right now. You're winning games.
Exactly.
He needs reps. He's still growing. He's still settling into his role. He's still trying to find himself. He feels wrong. He's got baggage, right?
Yeah.
Like he's trying to get over the Chicago stuff. He's playing well. Why would you do this to his psyche?
Yep.
And what has Russell Wilson done in a Steeler uniform to invoke this type of almost loyalty from you? It's strange to me. I think if they make this switch, this could come back to haunt Mike Tomlin, and we could be looking at his first losing season. I'm not buying that they can make a switch to Russ and keep winning games. I'm not. I think you must stick with Justin Fields until he plays himself out of that lineup. And I don't necessarily believe that was going to happen. I think this offense, although they ain't great, and I thought Davante Adams to the Steelers would be a better move personally, or Amari Cooper. But with that being said, he's winning games. And it doesn't matter if it's pretty or not. Leave him in there. Let it play out. Instead, now we're introducing this Russell Wilson drama, and it's the last thing I think the Steelers need.
I always talk floor and ceiling. Your ceiling is so much higher with Justin Fields.
I would think so.
And especially their offensive line situation. They lost Troy Faltonu, their first-round pick, who was their starting right tackle.
That's right.
They moved Broderick Jones from the left side to the right side. And Zach Frazier, another draft pick who was stellar for them at center, he got rolled up on, and he's week to week right now with an ankle injury. When you have uncertainty on your offensive line, what helps the most? Mobile quarterback.
Right.
Like there has to be something egregious that Justin Fields is doing, which doesn't make sense. And for you to even talk about the loyalty, T, I like that you bring that up, because that's what I'm thinking is
strange, though.
It's what coaches do today also going to have ramifications next week, a year from now, 2 years from now.
Yes.
Treatment in players, what you're telling free agents, they all talk amongst another. The brotherhood that it is.
That's right.
You said it. I mean, you go around the NFL, everyone's opinion on Russell Wilson. I mean, Richard Sherman has said it where, I had to talk to his people to get in touch with him or something like that. It's the
Sean
loyalty
Payton
is better
didn't like
served
him in Denver.
to Justin
Sean
Fields.
Payton hated him.
Yeah. He would take Bo Nix over him, and
That's
Bo
right.
Nix stinks.
That's right.
It's not as good as Russell Wilson.
He doesn't stink.
But for you to point out, too, and again, the uncertainty of the offensive line, we're going into this Jets game. It can't be more winnable for you.
Yeah.
But now you're going to shake it up in your locker room?
It's weird.
You say one thing to the public?
Yeah.
Maybe it's to light a fire under Justin Fields' butt, but he's been taking care of the ball.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Not throwing a ton. Even his highest passing game of the year, he threw over 300 yards. You lost to the Colts.
Yeah.
Right?
Light a fire under Russell Wilson's butt. Say, hey, listen, the way Russ is healthy now, the way Justin's playing, we're gonna ride it out with him for now, which is not unfair to say, by the way. And then you say Russ needs to show us in practice or whatever, that he's capable and he's ready to be the starter if that presents itself.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would bat an eye. But when you go out and it's this pro-Russ statement, and you just act like Justin Fields is just here biding time, what? Why? I'm telling you, I think this can affect, unless there's something we don't know. But I would think nowadays something would be leaked or something, some sort of mutiny there. And Justin Fields does not strike me as that kind of player either, and that kind of kid. He seems like he's on point, like he's in line with whatever. So I just think this could be a brutal mistake that could cost the Steelers their season. I really do. I think you could flush it down the drain if you make a quarterback switch here.
I can't find the justification.
I can't either. Even if he has a bad game, right? I mean, like you said, it's the Sunday night game. It is prime time. If he doesn't,
they have back-to-back prime time games.
They got back-to-back against
Jets
both
Sunday
New York
night, Giants
teams.
Monday night.
Okay, here's what I would do, and then a bye week. If I was Tomlin,
going into that bye.
Russ is healthy. Justin Fields, for now, is our guy. We will reassess at the bye week. No headline. No headline.
You don't even say that.
You don't have to, but he's clearly talking.
Yeah.
If you said that, no headline.
He said about the offense, we've been good at times, but not to be confused with great.
Facts.
They'll make a decision on quarterback one closer to game time.
It's not Justin Fields' fault. The offense isn't great. It's your fault, Mike Tomlin. That's what I think.
Your receiving room stinks. George Pickens isn't the guy.
Year
you haven't
in,
been
year
able
out.
to keep him in check. Your offensive line is shaken up.
The offensive play call. They've run through offensive coordinators there like Skittles.
It's very interesting for a team in their spot trying to wrap my mind around why they would do it. And again, it's Russell Wilson.
But that's the thing.
Russell
They're
Wilson
doing it
takes
for
care
Russ.
of the football.
Yeah.
But like, if his injury is that bad, he's been out this long. Why you're 4-2? Why mess with it?
You know what this is? What it feels like? It's a classic case of I don't want to be wrong. And remember the original plan. It was Russ.
Yeah.
And then Justin Fields was the reclamation project, right?
And then Russell got injured.
Yes. If you know what hits a fan, then we'll go to this kid Justin Fields. He'll have time to sit, figure it out, and then maybe, we can have a productive career from him here in Pittsburgh that we weren't able to see in Chicago. Russ gets hurt. Fields is in. I think he's playing pretty damn good, all things considering, with what you have there in Pittsburgh offensively. And I think this is a classic case of, nope, this was the plan. We're going to Russ. And it's like, why are you doing that? It's a mistake. It's so obvious to everyone it's a mistake. If I'm a Steelers fan right now,
I'm pissed.
I think I'm ticked off.
You're tied with the Ravens for the division lead at 4-2.
And we're talking about this?
You're in a playoff spot.
This kid's winning.
Putting this out.
He's winning games with his legs and his arm.
And you need it. Because you're not passing offense. He's won games. The one time he threw for over 300 yards, you lost.
And this is what we know, and we've seen enough now. Prime Russell Wilson ain't walking through that door.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
That's a lot to do on the fly, too.
That's all I'm saying.
It's
Prime Russ ain't walking through that door. Seattle Prime Super Bowl Russ, that ship has sailed. I mean, that ship sailed in Seattle. Like, they were laughing at Denver. You're going to give us what for this trade? And pay him, squeeze me? How much? Yeah, okay. Sure.
You're turning down that rushing upside when you need it. He's taking care of the football. And as a passer, he's been fine. He doesn't have to be stellar, but he's been fine, and you're winning games.
Yeah.
Especially with the upcoming opponent, too. Such an easy win. Just show up and take him serious.
That's all I'm saying.
Mess with it like that. Perfect time to go through our power rankings.
Well, they didn't make it.
Neither for me.
I would have put them on the cusp.
This
really
made me suspect.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go 10-10, and we'll go from there. My 10 spot.
Yep.
They're hanging on, man. I don't know if I believe them in anymore.
They're dropping, huh?
Niners. 3-3.
Got 'em.
They're doing just enough to beat the Jets, Patriots, and Seahawks, but it's the Jets, Patriots, and Seahawks.
And it's a struggle to win.
Yeah.
It takes
They're doing
everything
just
they
enough.
got. Yes.
Purdy's been stellar. He been great. But the injuries they have, Jordan Mason's shaken up.
Yep.
Isaac Guerendo's good, but he doesn't have the same IQ to be a great running back in that offense. He's faster, but it's all about making the right reads.
Yep.
Now what they have coming up with a stretch,
okay.
Chiefs, Buccaneers, Packers. It's 3 of their next 5 opponents.
They could lose
Chiefs,
3 of
Buccaneers,
those.
Packers.
They could lose all 3.
Definitely.
They could lose all 3.
Definitely. The Chiefs defense is legit.
Yeah.
The Bucs can put up 50 on anybody.
Yep.
Can you keep up? And with the Niners having their troubles in secondary and the Packers, they're higher up, but I'm going to get to them. They need to prove a lot to me too, but I'm worried about this Niners team.
The Packers need to prove a lot to you?
You'll see.
Wow.
We'll get
That's
to it.
your
And
boys.
and that's my team. Who's your 10?
I don't have the Niners in my top 10.
Right,
let's go there first.
Who
For
are
the
they?
second week
Is it the Bills?
Second week in a row. The Bears! I told you that the Bears were the truth.com. I told you Caleb Williams was going to ball out in his rookie season. Check. I told you that I don't trust Matt Eberflus, but from what I saw from him, he gets his side of the ball right, which is why I thought Robert Saleh getting fired was stupid in New York, but they do stupid things. Bill Belichick told you that, okay? But Eberflus has a defense playing well, at least. Now, for the first time maybe ever for the Bears, you have an embarrassment of riches for weapons. I've never seen this happen in Chicago Bear history in my lifetime, okay? You have weapons, a stud rookie quarterback, and your defense is playing well. Hello, playoffs. Just like I told you. Playoffs? That's right, Chicago. Playoffs. Give me the Bears at number 10 and climbing.
That's a good pick. I didn't have them in there. They have to prove something, too. Who have they beaten? Titans, Colts, Rams.
Yep.
Just beat the Jaguars.
Yep. That's their 4.
That's their 4 wins.
4-2.
All 1-win teams. You're beating who you're beating.
You can only play, and their schedule's not the worst schedule ever, period. They're going to be all right.
I will write off them getting to the playoffs. Hey, that's what playoff teams do.
That's right.
You beat the teams you're supposed to.
Telling you.
Jets don't always do that. My 9 spot, Buccaneers.
Okay.
4-2. Baker Mayfield threw 3 interceptions.
Yep.
I thought he was knocked out of the game. I thought he was done for the season the way he went down with a shoulder injury. And they let up 27 points in the second quarter to the Saints. Mm-hmm. They won 51-27. They put up 50-plus points.
Yeah.
While turning the ball over 3 times. This offense is so perplexing. And Mike Evans didn't even show up.
Yep.
Now, that Saints defense is a very poor tackling team. Like, what I'm going to start doing, running backs, especially short receivers that get a lot of catches, I'm going to go over on their yardage betting-wise, whoever the Saints are matching up with, because we saw them do it against the Chiefs. They did it against Bucks. But the Bucks are showing up. Defense needs to get healthy. That offense is emerging and getting better, and Baker just has that moxie. I like him in the 9 spot.
Outside of Chiefs, Ravens, and Texans, I went all NFC here. I do not have the Bills in my top 10. Now with Amari Cooper, I would rethink this. But I preface my comments with the AFC stuff to tell you I went NFC heavy because I feel like I'm figuring out the NFC. With that being said, I'm going Falcons at the 9th spot. And the reason why is not because I like Kirk more than Josh Allen. I mean, come on. I'm crazy. I ain't that damn crazy. It's simply because the NFC is wide open, which is why I'd rather swim in those waters in terms of betting and even my power rankings. Give me the Falcons at 9 because with Kirk Cousins, who you can't trust in the postseason, but certainly we see his numbers in the regular season always. He wins games and he puts up video game numbers. I like the Falcons here to rattle off a ton of wins, maybe win that division, although I'll tell you the team I like more in a minute. But I believe in the Falcons regular season-wise. I got them 9.
I got them just ahead of you at my 8th spot.
Yeah.
But you mentioned it. They don't have a pass rush. That really worries me. Bijan Robinson got going against the Panthers. That doesn't tell me a lot.
It's not consistent enough.
I know, but if they're figuring him out, I mean, just on 15 carries to get him 95 yards and 2 touchdowns is big.
Yep.
And Drake London's emerging as the elite receiver I knew he was. He just never had a quarterback to work with.
Your guy Kyle Pitts is starting to show up too.
He's my guy in fantasy in flag football. He's not my guy anywhere else. But hey, he's showing up.
That's your boy.
Fine. I don't care. I like him in that 8th spot. You know what's wild? You're talking NFC. Falcons, Buccaneers tied at 4-2.
Yes.
In their division. The NFC North. Vikings 5-0.
Yep.
Lions 4-1. Packers and Bears 4-2.
Yeah. Best division in football.
And we knew that.
We knew that.
No one saw this from the Vikings.
Well,
they were picked to finish last.
Yes.
That's what makes it mind-boggling of them being 5-0.
That's right.
And as the NFC is wide open, it's like who comes out of the North? And again, those teams have a lot to prove.
That's why I give us credit because we picked that division.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl representative to come out of that division. You went Packers, I went Lions, and I think, listen, if they get in the playoffs, crazier things have happened if the Bears come out.
Let's hear market. We'll have a convo about the NFC North on another show. Who's your 8th spot?
I'm going Commanders. Even on the loss, I was impressed. Jaden Daniels is the truth. I like that team. And they didn't have Brian Robinson Jr., their main running back. I think if they had a run game, maybe even that Ravens game looks a little bit different. But I was very impressed in a loss, and that rarely happens in this league.
7th spot for me, I go Packers. I mean, they lead the NFL with 17 takeaways.
Yep.
But again, this is why I said I have to explain this. They face the Eagles, Colts, Titans, Vikings, Rams, and Cardinals.
Yeah.
Vikings are the only legit team out of that entire spread. Coming up, Texans, Jaguars, Lions, Bears, 49ers. Texans, Lions, Bears, 49ers. That's a prove it to me for this Packers team. But I like them right now. They're my 7th spot.
7, I'm going Bucks. Wide open NFC, as I've mentioned. I trust this team more than I do the Falcons. I think they win the division, get that home game. I mean, Baker Mayfield and Todd Bowles, I like my chances there. I'm going Bucks.
6 spots Commanders for me. Jaden Daniels proved a lot, even in that loss to the Ravens. He threw over the middle. He did not run at all. They had no semblance of a run game. B-Rob was out. Austin Eckler couldn't get going.
Yeah.
And he still kept him in that game, which made so many big-time throws. He continues to just elevate that offense. And as I was saying, where players can cover up for a lot, he covers up for how bad that defense is.
I'm going Ravens here at my 6th spot. I mean, you would think maybe I've had them lower on the list, like 1, 2, 3, 4 range, but I'm going 6 here. Lamar and King Henry are ridiculous. The key for them is to be healthy when you get to January. If they are, Ravens may be in the Super Bowl.
5 spot is where we get similar. My Ravens are 5.
Yeah.
They need to score. That defense isn't the same, but the balance they have.
Yep.
And Mark Andrews showed up. Hey, look at that.
Yep.
Lamar was still Lamar. Derrick Henry, I mean, it just looks so good.
Man, he's fresh.
Behind that offensive line, yeah. And you're asking
fresh.
a lot less of him. He doesn't have to
right.
be that guy.
That's right.
He's looked fantastic. As long as they score 24 points, they're winning. That's basically what they're doing.
Yeah.
Defense, hey, just keep them at 23 or 24. Yep. And that's what they're getting to. I like the Ravens at 5.
All right, I'm in my top 5 now. I'm going Lions. That's my Super Bowl pick, but I got to admit, I am second-guessing it now with Hutch. You lose Hutch, who's an absolute monster.
You have him low.
That's a bad defense, and he is their premier guy that would do anything, and now he's gone. I'm second-guessing my Lions pick. As dominant as they look, I think down the stretch, they could be in trouble.
What's funny is how close we are again. I put Detroit at my 4 spot.
Okay.
They were my 1, but once Aiden Hutchinson goes down,
that's a big loss.
And that defense is bad. Exactly. I can't undersell that. He has one of the highest pressure rates and pass rush winning percentages in the NFL. And that defense isn't fantastic. Like, their secondary has to figure things out. It's very young. And he's really the only guy that creates any havoc up front.
Yeah.
Losing him is huge. This offense can score as much as they want. You can't get stops. You can't bother the other quarterback of the opposition of the opposing team. That spells a lot of trouble. They need to go out and make a move now. Yeah. They need to find someone. Hassan Reddick's out there all of a sudden on the trade market. Go out and get a Max Crosby. I don't know. They need to do a lot.
Yep. All right, I'm going Packers 4. I'm giving them the nod over the Lions here because of that injury we just talked about. And you know what? George may be right. This could be the team that comes out of the NFC. I didn't think you were crazy when you said it, but the more I watch them, I now see your vision much clearer.
We'll see. That defense is good. Causes a lot of turnovers. Now I'm getting to my 3 spot. Yep. This is where I go Minnesota.
Okay.
5-0 undefeated, plus 63 scoring differential. They're blowing everyone out.
Jeez.
They have the 2 best coordinators and play callers in the game, Flores and O'Connell.
Yep.
And even when they look out of sorts, like in that Jets game, it's against the Jets. They find ways to win. This defense is good. Coming off the bye, I like them at 5-0.
I still don't trust Darnold, but it's hard to disagree with you.
We've seen it.
Yeah, I know. 3 Texans. I'm starting to believe. The same way I told George I could see the Packers' vision, I'm starting to really believe the Texans could be the team that comes out of the AFC. It's something about just C.J. Stroud, the running game with Mixon, the defense, D'Amico Ryan's coaching them, all those receivers. They just kind of got it going on right now. It just feels like their moment. I am high on the Texans, and I'll be honest, I'm waiting on the Chiefs to lose their first game so I can put the Texans over them. I am.
I have Chiefs set too. You know my
how can you not?
You know my opinion of their offense.
How can you not?
It's not great.
I know.
Scheme's good.
Yeah.
You got 15. It's just not great. And I don't know what Pacheco is going to be when he returns from a broken leg. The vicious runner he is. The defense is elite, though. They're coming off the bye. They're 2-0 for that reason.
I'm with you. I have them at 2. It's just Mahomes' magic. I mean, everything you say, you took the words right out of my mouth. It's something is off with that team. They are, I use this word with them, vulnerable. They are vulnerable. But they're still at 2. They haven't lost. They have Mahomes' magic and Andy Reid's. What more do you need?
They were vulnerable last season.
I know.
The offense was never good
and
for
they won
17
the Super Bowl.
games. It's nuts. It's Mahomes. 1 spot's the Texans for me. Like, CJ wasn't comfortable much of Sunday, but he wasn't under a ton of pressure. I mean, they were getting a lot of short fields. That was a game where it's like, hey, go out, do your thing. Let's get some touchdowns and get home. And it was just like he barely had to lock in. It got 3 touchdowns. It was literally like it was a preseason game. The Patriots blitzed over 50%, and they barely got any pressure on them. They blitzed over 53%, and they barely got home to him. The ball's coming out quick without Nico Collins. Oh, my God. Everything we spoke about. I never said, like, the Texans dropped 41, and they didn't have Nico Collins, who's been the best receiver in football this year.
Bro, they literally – how disgusting is it?
They got Joe Mixon back.
Yeah, and he ran well. How disgusting is it that in week 6 of an NFL season,
they're treating it like a preseason game?
They could treat it like a preseason game. It's unbelievable. I know why you have the Texans 1. I just can't demote the Vikings. They're still 1 on my list. I want to demote them. but they keep winning, so I'll go Vikings until they lose. But I want to move my top 2 so bad. I want to move Vikings and Chiefs all up and down on this list. I can't do it because they keep winning.
Great coaching, man. Great coaching. One thing I'll leave you with on the Vikings when we watch them, Wes Phillips, their offensive coordinator. Watch him. He doesn't call the plays. Would be a good OC for the Patriots to identify, to bring over. Pay bump, you're calling plays. Build out your resume, bring that Viking system here because that's a system they want for Drake May.
Can I go hot takey? Same division, different coordinator. Ben Johnson, bring him to New England as your head coach.
Okay, wow. Calling for Gerard's job 6 games in. I like it.
Head coach.
Even I haven't gone there.
Imagine that guy with Drake May.
And I took a shot of whiskey today, and I haven't even gone there.
I'm going to take one after the show. Woo!
Boston's end of the chat, George Balekji. He's Travis Thomas. We're in the PNC Bank studio. Thanks so much for tuning in. Wherever you get your podcasts, please like, subscribe, download, rate, and review. Go to Nesson's YouTube page, hit the subscribe button. Remember, the chat at Nesson.com to email in questions, 617-790-0928 to call in and leave a voicemail. See you guys next time. Have a good one.